Well, welcome everyone to this. It's actually the inaugural, the first Q&A that we have ever done live on Zoom. So we are honored to have our Wild Goose Trail Festival race medic. Thor is in the house. Natasha Swartley is coming to us from right now Bozeman, Montana. She's on the road in between events. So Thor is going to be answering questions. We got a lot of questions ahead of time, which is fantastic. So her and I have a shared doc that we've got on another screen that we can just go through the questions, and feel free. We got the chat going. I'll try to keep an eye on that. But this is a pretty small group, so feel free to pop in, ask a question in the chat, or unmute yourself, and we'll get through as much as we can. We have an hour, 57 minutes now. So, Thor, do you want to give a little intro on who you are? Maybe like an elevator pitch of who is Natasha Swartley?
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kim, for putting this together and having me on. And I appreciate everybody chiming in. I'm here for you guys. So just a little background. I'm a 20-year Navy veteran. I did not do anything medical. I blew shit up in the Navy. Now I have established myself as a business, aka Thor Trail Race Medic. I specialize in ultra races as a medic for ultra runners. I'm a nationally registered EMT, also wilderness certified EMT, an ultra runner. So my biggest thing is just giving back. I have worked for Destination Trail. I started with Kim in Sassquad when I was living out in Pennsylvania. So shout out to her. All this wouldn't have happened had she not entrusted me to take care of you guys. Last year at the Wild Goose was my first interaction with one of her biggest 100s, and I'm really excited to let you guys know that I will be there here in 2 months. So without further ado, I'm here for you guys. Kim was really kind, and I apologize in advance. I'm sitting in my truck in a parking lot in Bozeman, and we're having thunder, snow, and hail. So, so if you can hear any distractions, that's because Mother Nature is a little angry right now. But the sun is shining. So, I was sent a lot of great questions, and I'm really glad you guys are sending these because they're absolutely amazing. So please, I apologize in advance if I mess up your name. So I got a question here from Zipporah Fuller. What's the best foot care starter kit to have in one's trail running arsenal? You can never go wrong with a simple Band-Aid. You can never go wrong with KT tape. And you will never go wrong with Leuko tape. And all of this I can fill out in this Q&A that Kim sent me and actually type it out with answers. So that way you guys have the right spellings. KT tape is great because it's already got backing to it. So you can cut pieces, put them in a Ziploc bag, and carry them with you in a trail pack. It's great for wounds. It's great for blisters. It's great for taping people's mouths shut when they talk too much. But it's easy. Leuko tape is really strong adhesive, and it doesn't have a backing, so it's best to use that at your crew stations, drop bags, and so on. You can buy KT tape at any stores, and Leuko is only purchased online. And again, you can never go wrong with a Band-Aid. Please note, I did not say anything about blister pads, blister gummy things, anything of those. Please, I recommend you do not, or that you avoid those, please. They actually do more damage when you start to get into longer distances because they harbor that moisture in your foot and actually cause more trench foot issues. So simple things like tape. I hope that answers that one. So Carolina asked, if you got a bad blister and have to keep going, what's the best approach? There's 2 ways to approach this. Nice way is you're going to bandage it up. So if you have a blister, you can lance the blister. Okay. Meaning I'm not going to go cut the entire layer of skin off and expose the entire wound. You're going to, you can use a needle, clean it, clean the wound area. So a little alcohol wipe. You can use a hypodermic needle. You can use a razor blade. Clean your tools. If you don't have access to clean tools, we all wear bibs. You can use the sharp end of the pin that you use to attach your bib if you don't have access to a tool. I like to recommend carry a safety pin in your little first aid kit. You would just literally create a pocket for the fluid to exit the wound. And then simple tape, go back to the KT tape, and then readdress it later. And then, so that's the nice way of doing it. And then the other half of it is the mean way. You give yourself a knife hand and you remind yourself that if you're going to let a blister get in the way of you finishing a race, don't be a fucking ass. All right. Suck it up. Keep moving. These things go away. Okay. It's temporary. All right. I assure you that these things will fade. Okay. So good and bad.
All right, let me ask you this. Say you get a
ah,
blister. It, in your mind, is there a difference between getting a blister at mile 5 compared to mile 95 in 100?
yes. So treat it as soon as possible because it's only going to continue to grow more. So if you're getting hot spots where you feel like a blister is going to develop, treat it, tape it. What you're doing is by taping it, like if this is the ball of the foot, your ankle, your heel, ball of foot, you tend to get hot spots right here where your toes, tape that. Because otherwise, you're going to end up with blisters there and the problem's going to continue. So treat as soon as possible. That tape is creating a barrier between skin and sock and shoe, which is going to prevent, friction of your foot against that. And it's going to help prevent blister formation. And so if you get a blister at mile 5, treat it. If you get a blister at 95, treat it. There is no difference. Treat it as soon as possible. The longer you let it go, the worse it'll get.
And I didn't hear you mention anything about like Neosporin or any kind of ointment. Or you don't really need to do that? You just throw the tape right on it?
Because you're not opening the wound. So, and it's wound care. So if you end up ripping the layer of skin off of the wound and you're exposing the tissue under that skin, you need to treat it. So Neosporins work, just a small dab. You can use Q-tips, or like some sort of A&D ointment just to prevent it. And then you can just layer, in that case, I would put a small nonstick gauze and then tape. But you don't want to keep stacking things on because you'll just create friction. So the less amount of stuff you have on there, the less friction it will cause and the less problems you will develop. But the only time I'm treating the wound with any sort of antibiotic cream is if the wound is fully exposed because you're just opening the door for more infection, which is why I suggested that when you do go to treat a blister, if you're using a pin, you just literally create a small pocket for the fluid to exit, because then you're preventing room for infection. That answer? Okay. Let's see. Mike Presti asks, I get deep blister beneath the callus on the ball when running ultras. Any suggestions for prevention? Mike, so going back to what I said, so I'll do my best. I'll send Kim so she can disperse this, but I'm actually in work on trying to create small little how-to videos. But when you tape for the ball of the foot, all right, and that's what it sounds like. So this is the ball of the foot where your toes meet the foot. I always suggest you tape from top across the bottom to top. Because otherwise you just give more room for that tape. If you just do bottom to bottom, you just give more room for that tape to get peeled up. So, and most of the time when our foot is sliding, it's not necessarily sliding front to back. It's usually sliding side to side. So when you're doing the tape, always round the edges, on the top when you cut them, when you're done. So round the edges, because then you don't have corners to get picked up by your socks, shoes, or anything else. I'm sorry, somebody just pinged me. So round the edges, get as close to this as possible, a thin layer of tape, and done. And it'll prevent some of that blister. Second to that is after you tape, apply a lubrication. So you can use Vaseline, Aquaphor, Desitin diaper rash stuff. I have found Blister Shield, which is a powder version, really works great. Squirrel's Nut Butter, and another one called Salty Britches. Those tend to be the ones I see on the big ultras. So hopefully, and you always want to wait until after you tape when you're doing these things, and you want to make sure your feet are clean and dry before you apply the tape. So clean, dry feet, apply the tape, lubricate. Then, I'll get back to Maria's question. So any suggestions for preventing to what I refer as ridge blisters? So they're hard ridges that form under a couple of my toes. So I'm trying to figure out how this means, and this is coming from Felicia. Felicia, can you chime in real quick and let me know what that means?
Sure. So I get these little blisters, like they're almost like pinched together and form
Okay.
like these hard, like ridge, like almost callus looking things.
Okay.
And then they just stick around forever.
Okay. Tape your toes.
Okay. I
Tape your
assume
toes.
that's what you were going to tell me after you said tape for everything.
Yep. Tape your toes, and you can do this if you want. Toe socks have been a game changer in the industry. It helps reduce some of that friction between toes, which means that your toes aren't going to be doing a lot of this. They'll just get a little bit of room. But I am, again, in work on creating some how-to videos, but essentially when you go to tape your toes, toe, right? This is top of toe with your nail bed, bottom of toe, all right? Essentially, you're going to start with tape on the top, go the length of your nail, and then under. And then you're going to take another piece and you're going to go from top around to top. And again, make sure you round those edges. And the reason that we don't want the tape ending on the sides or the bottom is because you're just creating a window for that tape to get snagged under your socks or get clipped off or moved. But yeah, it's okay. I see people do it all the time. Tape all your little tootsies. They will pay you forgiveness back. Does that answer your question, darling?
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for explaining it. All right. So Marjorie asked, what's the best way to keep our feet in shape? And Laura asked, how can I best prevent blisters? And Peter asked, what pre-treatments are recommended to toughen the skin? I combine all these because I'm going to combine the answer. So, one, keep your feet in shape for 100 miles. Let's start with prevention. Prevention is going into any event. It doesn't matter if it's a 5-miler to 100 to 200 miles plus, right? The softer your feet are, the better blister prevention you're going to have. So the more callus you have, the more you will be prone to getting blisters. So what does that mean, folks? Start babying your toes. So lotion, pedicures, all you name it. Get the pumice stones, go to work, make them babies look fabulous. So best prevention, softer feet, pre-tape if you know that you're prone to blisters. After you pre-tape on clean feet, note, apply a lubrication, okay? So again, all those suggestions, and Kim, I will send a lot of this to you, so this is something that we can be shared. You know, through the course of a race, if it's wet, change your socks. If you don't want to change your socks, change your socks. Because sometimes if we're sweating a lot for the long distance races, those sweaty socks can get a lot of that grit, the dirt in there, which can actually get onto your skin and can still cause a blister. Plus, taking your socks off is such a relaxing feeling when you've been running for 100 miles. So get your socks off, air those babies out, wipe them down, start fresh. You know, you might not even have to reapply the tape, but relubricate, dry socks, go out again. Okay. So prevention starts with babying them. All right. Make those babies soft. Let's see.
That's interesting with the having soft feet. So how long does that take to get soft feet? Like say somebody signed up for the Wild Goose 100, it's in September. Is it enough time to start now?
Unless you've got some like dew claws growing or like some talons growing, start now.
Perfect.
Start getting it because it is habitual as well. It is habitual because you want to do it routinely. The more lotion that you apply to your skin, and some of us ladies know this, guys are notorious, and I'm calling these out. Guys are notorious for not lotioning their skin. Girls are notorious for lotioning their skin. So we just tend to forget about our feet because we put socks on and go on our merry way. So start bringing that habit into your daily routine. And if all you do is lotion your feet, you go. But get the pedicures, You can get stuff at beauty supply stores like pumice stones. If it's really bad calluses, you might have to look at razor blades, but if you're not down for that, go to the pedicure place, let them do your thing. You don't have to get nail polish. It's not required. But yeah, start now so you create the habit of it. So by the time you do get to Wild Goose, this is habitual. And you start to realize that like, oh, okay. And then you see the performance you do as well as your feet will hopefully do better. That you continue to do the habit. As you in daily life and so on. So start now. Doesn't hurt to pretty those babies up. Does that answer your question, dear? Okay. Let me see. We did that. Pre-treatments, we did that. Okay, so Marty asked, how do you determine to pull a runner from the race? This is a really tough question. Because, and I see you guys putting stuff in the chats and we'll get to those and I appreciate those. So pulling a runner from the race is all variable. There are some severe cases where it's like, you ain't going. There's some medical issues if you're on a medication and your medication's not supporting you or you forgot it, which would not be a good thing. Or severe medical emergency. We're going to pull you from course. You know, and all of these things is to say that you also need to make sure you or your crew are accountable for you. What I would like to suggest is if you are on a medication of some sorts, whether it's an inhaler, epinephrine, a daily med for whatever reason, it's not information you have to disclose up front unless Kim requires it. But I suggest that to all runners that you have some sort of instruction sheet with you at all times. So in the event, if you unfortunately go unconscious, that we know what's going on with you and how to assist you. Because if there's no medical staff and you're on course and there's a runner that passes you by, they can at least assist you in that event. At aid stations, if something comes up and there's a determination where, okay, we need to get this evaluated by a higher medical authority, then we have to catch you off course. Right. So sometimes joint injuries, extremity injuries, like severe dislocations, possible broken bones, strains and sprains, medical issues that are out of, I'm just an EMT. I'm a basic EMT. So if it is above my level and I can't treat you, then we have to look at further care and getting you to a hospital or urgent care immediately. So really pulling runner off course is a combination of what is going on with you? Can we treat this? Or is the runner able to go on safely? This is the keyest thing, is safety is priority. And at the end of the day, the race is always going to be there. Your safety is my priority. Your health is our priority. So I just want you to keep those things in mind because it is variable on reasons on why we may have to pull a runner off course. So I hope that answers your question. Oops.
Or could I chime in here on that
absolutely,
topic?
Please.
Just from experience, when we've had runners come down with an injury during a race, sometimes serious, like they fall, they hit their head, they're bleeding from the head. Just encourage you if I know I'm a runner, you want to stay in the race, you want to keep going, but when you have medical professional suggesting that you first of all, stop. Second of all, go to the hospital to get things checked out. I can tell you probably 9 times out of 10 that we've been in that situation with Sassquad where the EMT is recommending you should go to the hospital. The runner refuses and they don't want to go. And just really would encourage you, whatever it is, if it's ego or fear or whatever determination, just try to listen to folks like Thor or the EMTs who are on site who are encouraging you to seek medical advice. So that's just my little PSA on the soapbox coming from the race directors. That's why these people are here to help and they know what they're doing. So that's just gonna throw that in there.
No, it's great. It's great info and it's coming from the boss lady, the HBIC. So you guys heard it first. So please, yeah, it's for your benefit. Let me see. So Miss Maria asked best solutions when hands or fingers are swelling up and how to prevent it. So that's a tough one too. It's very variable. It could be lack of electrolytes. It could be too much electrolytes. It could be heat, humidity. It could be a lot of things. So long as you know you are staying up on your hydration, just keep up on it. And you come into an aid station, sometimes to reduce the swelling, you can hold your hands in cold water. And if it gets to a point where it's painful, try to, raise your hands above your head to allow the blood flow back down. But also swollen hands, and I've experienced this. I've had them so bad where my gloves, I had fingerless gloves and I couldn't even get them off. The edema at the tips of my fingers was so bad that the cloth was stuck on my hands. We had to cut the gloves off. And in that case, it was actually low on salt tabs. So my body was retaining water, vice flushing it. So it can be variable. So just if you're monitoring your salt and electrolyte intake and you're still getting swollen hands, let's monitor the temperature outside. But if it's cold temps and you're getting swollen hands, it's usually, in my case, low salt. And I see Maria chimed in on there. So yeah, a lot of times it is from heat. Let me see. I don't know. Okay. So we got that from Maria. I guess there's a question about bringing back some awesome pork quesadillas. I think that's out of my hands, you guys, but Kim heard that.
That's for the next Q&A. That's for
okay.
But there are Thor, I dropped in a couple more in the Google Doc. So we've got one question is any special precautions we should take for toes that are missing a toenail on race day?
Oh, I just saw that. One, you're lucky that you don't have a toe to worry about. So thank you, Nora. First of all, you want to make sure, so is it a closed wound, right? So if you have on the nail, if you have like the little snaggies, where some of the nail bed may actually still be hanging out, try to trim it down. I know it sounds gross, but hey guys, these are our feet and God bless us with these things. So trim down the nail, and tape over, just like I had explained to Felicia, top to bottom, and then around circumference, top to top. But if it's a wound, if it's like open where infection can come in, so if there's no skin layer over it to protect it, then you want to consider maybe packing it with just a little bit of gauze, a Neosporin, so the gauze doesn't stick and also help prevent infection, but tape over it. But if it's literally just a missing nail and there's no snags to be worried about, and it's a closed nail bed, for example, I have a nail that I've finally had removed surgically for the second time, and it's just skin. So, and I don't tape it because it's just now part of normal, if you will. So all those things considered, tape it, trim it if needed, wound care it if needed. Otherwise you can just leave it be if there's no other like wounds or open things. So hopefully, Nora, that answers your question. Kim, I see another one in the chat saying, can you overdose with sodium or create a dangerous situation with salt stick pills, especially for long or multi-day? You can. And so think of it this way, water follows salt. So water follows sodium and sodium follows water. So if you do too much electrolytes, you can start to develop things like rhabdo and kidney and bladder issues, right? Because your body doesn't have enough water to flush out the excess. So your body then just holds on to it. So it's really important to make sure that for every electrolytes that you're drinking double the amount of water. Your body will absorb what it needs, right? And the water is to help process that system, because your kidneys do get an overload, your spleen gets an overload, and there's a little bit of physiology with this, but your body needs the water, not just for hydration purposes, but it also keeps your blood a little bit thin, and your organs thinned, right? So things process, but most importantly, your kidneys need the water so they can filter everything. Because remember, you guys are having an eating contest and you're flooding your system with so much on top of the stress that you're putting it through. So water is crucial and essential. I suggest that, again, for every electrolytes that you're taking in, I like to use 500 ml bottles or 250 ml bottles. So for every 500 ml bottle, I'm drinking a liter of water with it. Or I have a 12-ounce bottle and then I'm just drinking a liter of water. I haven't taken salt pills in many years because I've found my balance. But again, every person who's out there running is a little bit different. We all sweat a little bit more or less than others. We move a little bit different. So find your balance. If you find that you are cramping, intake your salt a little bit more. Salt pills definitely work. And like I said, if it's cold temps and you're getting swollen hands, you're probably low on electrolytes. So I hope that answers your question, Maria. Is there a max number of pills to safely take? Okay, so what I like to suggest, if you're taking the salt capsule, and these are suggestions, right? Because every person is different. If you're taking a salt stick capsule, 1 every hour max. If you're taking the little chew tablets, you can do 2 every half hour because they're less dosage. And again, like if you're finding your balance, make sure you are eating all the time. Okay. Don't go by calories per hour, go by carbs per hour. If you're not getting 100 carbs per hour, you're probably going to bonk, which is also part of the salt intake. So yeah, I don't suggest, like, if you hadn't taken a salt pill in like 4 or 5 hours and you start to cramp, you can take 2. And I even suggest testing it. This was a tip from, maybe some of you guys know him, Ray Sanchez, OG in the ultra running community. He said to bite the capsule, and if you like the salt flavor, your body needs salt. If it doesn't like the salt flavor, don't take the salt. Again, these are suggestions. But 1 salt pill every hour, it's not going to hurt you. You know, and if you start to get some swelling or you're not seeing enough sweat come out, up your intake of water. And I think, well, that's all the questions on there. Anybody, Kim, do you have any input so far?
Yeah, I was going to throw in a couple more questions into the bucket.
Let's do it.
What is the best thing you can do if you start to get nauseous or you start puking?
Great question. We see this a lot. One, you want to ask yourself, are you eating enough? So going back to it, we used to, in some industries, it used to be preached, hey, I want to eat this many calories per hour. You need to start shifting that because a lot of times you go into a calorie deficit. Vomiting tends to happen as a result of not training well, like eating while training. So you guys got 2 months, not to remind you, but y'all got 2.5 months. Make sure that you're taking food with you on your runs and training your gut to receive food or move after a heavy meal. So start training that now. That's going to help the body just kind of be receptive to, oh, okay, this is normal. 2, if it feels viral, okay, we've all had the virus. So if it feels viral, you feel feverish, let's pause you, take you for a rest, and let's see what happens. If you haven't been eating enough, because you are enduring a lot of stress, you're putting your body through so much. Stress happens to sometimes or vomit tends to be a reaction to stress. Some folks might get a gag reflex, let's say like high anxiety. These are all responses to stress. The body is trying to reject itself of things that it doesn't think it needs. And anxiety or stress can drive that. So if you start to vomit, find yourself a little happy place, try to stay calm, try to remind yourself that, okay, things are going to be okay. And then just continue to monitor. If you're on course, get yourself back to the aid station. Just let us know. We'll monitor. We'll try to get some fluids in you. No IVs. Okay. I don't do that. We don't do that. Okay. But we'll try to get some fluids in you, try to get some food back in you, monitor for a little bit. And if you're not able to hold things down, that might be one of those moments where we say, okay, we need to take this a step further for care. But if you're able to hold things down and you're feeling better or good, to reapproach the course again, then go for it. I've seen folks puke a lot of times. Close their eyes for a few minutes and then they're fine. So it can be stress induced, it can be anxiety induced, it could just be your body didn't want the food you brought to it. It can be a lot of things, but if it's things like viral, you're not able to keep things down or in, which will cause lack of fuel and dehydration, then we need to reapproach that situation. Kim, you said you had more questions. I saw another one pop up on the chat.
Yeah. I want to pop in and just say, with the Wild Goose, just remember that you've got 36 hours to finish, and we've only got one cutoff during the race. That's at mile 93. So big part of that, number one, reduce the stress, anxiety, pressure with chasing cutoffs, but also there's a lot that can happen in the course of 100. So if you find yourself not feeling well, nauseous, whatever, just take a break. You've got the time to rest, let your body chill out a little bit, and then to get back into the event. You've got full 36 hours to get it done. So everything Tasha is saying is so good. Just let your body chill out a little bit if something's going on, and then you could get back into it for the goose. So,
absolutely.
All right, we've got another question from Felicia. Wants to know, can you talk about chafing prevention?
Chafing! We all love chafing. Who here has had the apples on their thighs? Or the apples in the fur baby section, for you guys. So there's a couple different things. Let me tell you, you can lube up all you want in the rain. It's very challenging to keep it from happening, in rain. So first of all, I do like to suggest that if you have spandex shorts that help cover certain areas, like a lot of chafing tends to happen in the groin area on the thighs, the inner thighs. So if you have spandex shorts, those are great. And then, and you can put a lubrication in there, like a Vaseline, an Aquaphor, squirrel's nut butter, that kind of thing, inside there, just to help prevent even a little bit more. I do suggest, if you haven't had it before, getting into your butt crack, okay? Because those things move too. And for girls, guys too, I should just keep this universal, in the armpit area, because our arms are moving against the pack. So those are great spots. Squirrel's nut butter is great. Salty britches is really, really good. You can buy those online. I love them because it works best in the rain. It's more of a waterproof base, like a latex base, versus I think latex more oil based. So it doesn't get washed off in the rain. Or Vaselines, Aquaphor. I think there's some of the best ones: Aquaphor, Vaseline, squirrel's nut butter, spandex. We're not going to put spandex in our armpits, but I definitely recommend and reapply as often as you need. And keep reapplying. If it's raining, do your best to keep reapplying. And I say this because at my race, I came out with a lot of chafing, because it was raining sideways for 14 hours. Last year, Wild Goose had a nice little summer rainstorm for quite a few hours. So do your best, use those products, reapply as frequently. But if you tend to get more chafing in the groin area, between your thighs, those spandex will definitely go a long way. And then get in the cracks, you guys. And ladies, this is another suggestion. Sports bras tend to cause chafing on the underside. So you can get in there with some lubrication, and then for all, on your back, on your spine, and your lumbar region. So lumbar is your lower back, where your pack can actually slide. So you can apply tape to that region. A Luco tape, is a really good one. Then you don't have to worry about reapplying, what's it called? The nut butter or lubrication to that area. But the tape will stay on for the course of the race, and it just adds a protective layer between your pack and your back. So hopefully, Felicia, I hope that answers your question, dear. I don't know. Kim, do you have anything else? Because there's nowhere in the chat.
Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to think through questions that I've had when I started running or the first 100. Do you want to
Yeah.
talk about what are your thoughts on taking ibuprofen, Advil,
Oh,
Tylenol during
good
the
one.
event? That's kind of a hot topic, so
Yeah.
you want to weigh in on that.
Yeah. So first of all, folks, so you're doing these hundreds, shit's gonna hurt. I'm just gonna be blunt. Shit's gonna fucking hurt. Okay. I'm not trying to be an ass about it, but it's gonna hurt. You're putting your body through a lot. So please, 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 I ask you, beg you, please just stick with the recommended dosage per day. Some of those products and what we call NSAIDs, so non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, your naproxen or Aleve, or ibuprofens, for example. Some of them are 8 hour, some of them are 12 hour. Please do not exceed the maximum dosage. It can mess with your kidneys, and the last thing you want to do is deal with that. So if there is a reason, legitimate, valid reason you need to be taking these things, okay, if you're on the medication already, you need to reevaluate yourself prior to coming in. Just make sure that you're okay. But don't be taking it just because things hurt. Okay. If they hurt severely, it is a suggestion. You can take it. I'm not going to provide it to you. But you can take it to help reduce some of your body's inflammation, which will help reduce a little bit of that pain. They do make other ones out there that are NSAIDs and acetaminophen, so an anti-inflammatory and a pain reducer. Again, please do not exceed the recommended dosage. Don't go out there relying on them to help reduce the pain. The inflammation is your body's way of sending messages to you that it's healing and it's hurt. And in a 100-miler or more, or 50 Ks or more, you are causing injury to our bodies. So the swelling is there because it's sending healing properties to it. But you can take them. Just please don't rely on them, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that comes up every couple of races where folks will come over to the aid stage, say, "Hey, do you have any Tylenol?" And we just don't give it out. So I appreciate you sharing that info.
Yeah.
Here's another question. It's hard to even imagine this happening because Wild Goose was so uh spicy with the weather last year. It was cold and wet for 36 hours. Hypothetically speaking, what if we've got a weather forecast? It's going to be 80 degrees. It's one of those freak late fall, late summer days. What if that happens? It's going to be really, really warm. What are some of your heat suggestions for avoiding overheating? How to deal with the heat if you're going to be out there for a day and a half? What do you got for us?
First of all, it would be pretty freaking epic if we got 80 degrees and sunshine. I really don't want to relive last year. It was spicy and amazing, but that was kudos to every single runner last year. If you were there last year, y'all, my heart goes out to you. I give you the best trophies in the world. So heat running. Up your hydration, pre-hydrate the week or two before. I know this sounds crazy, but as you go into your taper, you're going to start seeing that like, oh, my food intake still goes at the same rate. Good. So your water should too. You should be increasing your water intake. Some suggestions I have for you is one, intake some electrolytes within that 24-48 hours prior to, so that way you have a little bit more salt in your system because you're going to sweat more. Sweating more means that you're going to be reducing the amount of salt in your body, which can increase cramps. So you will and may be needing to increase your salt intake during the course of the race. Shade. Shade. So it's nice that like this course does have some shade, but there are a lot of exposed spots as well. So sun care, if you guys do the sunscreen thing, wear sunscreen to help prevent skin burn. I have a preference for sun shirts. They're very comfortable. They're designed in a way that when you wear them and you sweat through them, they also cool you off. Hats, and most importantly, get yourself some good sunglasses. That sun can really do some damage to your eyes. Lips. We always forget about the lips. We talk about hands, feet, skin, face, you name it. Lips and ears. Cover those with some sunscreen. Preferably for your lips, a matted sunscreen, a matte finish. Because the shinier it is, the more it's going to draw in the sun. And yeah, you'll actually get lip burn. It's pretty painful. So increase in water and electrolytes a little bit, especially before the race goes in, because you're going to be sweating a lot more initially, and then your body's going to kind of balance out. Second, if you start to feel things like a heat exhaustion coming on, slow down, get to the aid station, get in some shade, do your best to avoid some panic, and get cooled off. Shade, bandanas with ice, or just water, just something to put on the back of your neck, or even on your throat, because you have your carotid arteries right here, which go right up to your brain. So if you cool your neck off, that tends to help cool the brain off and cool the body off. Other hot spots to put cold items in are your armpits or in your groins, two big spots where your arteries are. So where that high blood flow is, it'll help cool you down faster. And then even I know that there's some creek crossings out there. Don't be afraid to drench yourself or drench your shirt in the creek. If you got to take your shirt off, or if you have a sun shirt, or if you got like a jacket of some sorts, or your hat, get your hat wet. And the hat is important because you can get sunburn on your scalp, which then looks like dandruff afterwards. And guys, gals, we don't need dandruff. We already look amazing. Okay. So wet your hat. And then just do your best. Like if you got to move a little bit slower, you have 36 hours, plenty of time. Just move a little bit slower during the heat of the day, pick it up during night when it's cooler, but do your best just to stay cool, stay moist, and stay hydrated. Again, with electrolytes and water. And I think that covers that one.
Amazing. Do we want to swing the other way? I mean, we've gone over the rain, we got over heat. What if we get a freak
snowstorm?
Cold day. What? I don't know. It's way yonder. It's Sassquad. What if there's snow? What are we doing? What are some strategies for super cold weather that maybe we weren't expecting? What do you got for us with the cold?
Oh man, Kim. Well, I mean, I'm sitting here. It was 90 degrees over here in Bozeman, and I've got thunder snow going on with hail. So you never know. So always come prepared. I suggest if you guys have rain pants, rain jackets, have multiple, because when it gets soaked, it's useless after that, and you want to change it. And layer properly. I'm a personal lover of vests. So I, for example, was doing some training runs in Colorado. It was negative 20 degrees as a high. Wool is fantastic. It dries quickly, it wicks away, and it doesn't absorb the moisture like some of these other shirts do. So if you have wool shirts, you can get thin base layers, moderate base layers, and then you can layer it up with a vest. So the idea is to keep your core as warm as possible. And then a shell, like a rain jacket type of shell, which if you get a big enough size, you can put that shell over your pack, which is going to keep your hose from freezing, or your ingredients of whatever you keep in your pack. Gloves, I prefer to use fingertipless gloves, and then I have mittens that I can put over if it gets too cold. But the tipless gloves, I can put a hot hands pad in the palm of my hand. I don't prefer this because you have more blood flow and meat right here, which will push the blood to your hand. These really don't. These are a lot more bony. So you can put the hot hands in the palm of your hand, which will keep your hands warm with the fingerless gloves. And First Light is the brand name that I like to use. They're wool. They're actually hunting gloves. So they're made of wool as well. If you prefer pants, you can get leggings that are designed for cold weather running. Or, depending on your acclimation with cold weather, you can do shorts if you prefer that. But change frequently if you're sweating a lot. Definitely change frequently. Do your best to moderate your body temperature. key thing is keeping your core warm. You can do buffs, which are really good at keeping your neck warm, keeping your breath warmer as you inhale, because you can burn your lungs with cold air. Beanies or headbands, buffs also work as a great headband to keep your ears warm. Yeah, and wool socks. I think the note of cold weather tends to be wool, good wool. And I really hope that we don't have to look at, you know, negative 20 degrees in September.
Oh my God, please no. Please no.
Or
Never know.
thunderstorms.
Oh my God. I really don't know what to expect this year based on last year, but we just got to be ready for everything. I think that's the big lesson all of us learned last year is you just got to be ready for whatever the elements are going to throw at you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add in, Kim? Other questions you have?
That's all I got. Yeah, I threw them at you. Wondering if anybody else wants to unmute and you can ask a question before we sign off here.
Don't all be shy. Look at all those hands raising. Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. It was very thorough. I think we've covered a lot of different topics tonight. So this is really great, Thor.
Thank you. And I actually just did a podcast with the ultra running guys 2 days ago, and we talked foot care. So that will air on August 10th. I'll share it. I will probably be off grid because I'm going to the Bigfoot 200. But as soon as I can, I'll air it. Or if you guys and gals listen to podcasts, check out the ultra running guys. They're fantastic. We definitely talk some foot care and some shit. But like I said, I'm getting there. I do intend to make some videos on how to do cute little Tootsie taping. So all of you can have the best race you possibly can, from now and into your future of running.